My name is Renç. I'm the CEO of Giza, and at Giza we create intelligent autonomous markets. And today we're going to talk a little bit about, where we are in DeFi as users, what we have valued so far, what happened to that value, and what we should be valuing next. Since the dawn of decentralized finance, I'm sure everybody in this room heard this motto of not your keys, not your coins. And this is something that we lived by and we breathed by for a very long time. And we have solved this problem with non-custodial wallets pretty rapidly. At the same time, this idea of not your keys, not your coins stuck around. But I wonder, how many of you really kept your coins? Since you first started your wallet, how many of you have lost everything multiple times? And how many of you have actually still keep the capital that you started your wallet with? I think the number of that is extremely low, because even though we were extremely possessive of our keys and our coins, we have actually lost our coins not to a centralized entity, but to an entity that is far more intelligent and far more defiant and far more vigilant, which is the market itself. Even though you kept your coins in your wallet, you lost your coins in trades, in yields, in impermanent losses, and everything else in between. So today, we're going to talk about how to keep your coins this time, how to keep your finance intact. And that goes through a transition, which we very much strive towards in Giza, which is going from wallets that has solved the key and the coins problem to wardens, and wardens solve your finance problem. Wardens are your compadrians, they are your AI agents that operate your capital 24/7, that grow your capital, that protect your capital, and make sure your capital is in the most profitable position 24/7 at all times while you sleep. And this transition, represents a transition of value. We have non-custodial wallets. Now, how do we keep up with the markets? Because the decentralized entities are no longer your biggest enemy, but your biggest enemy to beat, the dragon that you need to slay, is the financial markets that gets more and more complex by the day. What we have built in Giza is an infrastructure that takes away all of the complexity of DeFi and morphs it into a single logic layer. All of the things that were incredibly difficult in DeFi, the languages, the solidity to move, the AMMs, the APRs, the yields, and everything else, we have built an MCP layer that standardizes everything, and all of these super difficult components are just a call function at the moment. What this creates is a new DeFi ecosystem where you don't have to onboard yourself for days and weeks and months and years to master it. And we changed the information asymmetry into a leveled playing ground where everybody can get the best out of DeFi, and everything is a single call function for the agents that we use. Once we set this layer for the agent to operate in, then we fix the huge UX problem of DeFi. Currently, there's a huge gap in terms of time and in terms of effort from the moment where any of you wants to deploy capital to DeFi and the moment where you actually do. In this gap, you have to learn a protocol, you have to trust a protocol, you have to understand its mechanics, you understand the gas cost and everything else in between. So what we want to do is minimize this time as much as possible and minimize the clicks required as much as possible. Our vision is to drive it to 1 click, hopefully to 0 clicks very short. But we work with an intent-based system where you declare what you want to accomplish rather than all of the steps that you want to take. And last but not least, we have talked about the user side of this, but there is very much a market side of this, where if we can scale the intelligence to the market itself, the agents that we operate with, they are relentless and they don't care about your incentivized reward system. They don't care about your point system. They don't care about who runs what kind of scheme, and they reward frequency. They penalize slow ecosystems. If your gas cost is too high, the agent is not going to go there. If you're an extractive protocol, the agent is not going to choose you. So what these agents actually portray on the ecosystem itself is market discipline. And I'm sure we can all agree that in DeFi, we do need some discipline, and we do need it at a market level. So this agents, this intelligence that we create, not only fixes the user part, but also create a much more dynamic, much more competitive, much more healthy environment where capital velocity is maximized, capital productivity is maximized, and we all live in a much more safer environment because that is what it is rewarded. The UX that we move on to is now just twofold. So we take like 15 steps of DeFi and we move it into a twofold UX. The first part is the prompt part or the intent part. You as the user, as the orchestrator, you decide what you want to accomplish. That doesn't go further beyond than your intent. So you don't have to think about, I need to go to this protocol, or I need to go to this chain, I need to activate this wallet, I need to build this, I need to build that. For us, in order to use the DeFi primitives, in order to get the best out of DeFi, a person should not have to know DeFi. You don't even have to know Web3. If you have $10 million that you want to deploy and you want to get XYZ yield on it, we don't need to talk about base, we don't need to talk about morpho. You just need to declare an intent and we'll take care of everything else for you. The second part is the parameterization part, and this is towards like the personalization of finance that has been lacking in DeFi. And if you think about it, it is uncomprehendable that it has been lacked so far. If you go to a bank today, and if you go and ask for the most simple financial instrument, which is a loan, it will be personalized one way or the other. They will look at your history, they will look at your requirements, they will check how much you want, how much you can pay, and it will be given to you in a personalized manner. To this date, in DeFi, we had zero personalization. All of you had to put your eggs in the same basket in a vault where it had to move all at once. It operated on static strategies rather than dynamic strategies, but that is no longer the case. With Giza, what we want to do is give every single person in the room a personalized treasury manager. A treasury manager that only acts for you and for you only. It doesn't mingle your capital with anybody else's, and it operates on your requirements. If you have a risk preference of 5 to 6% yield, it will only go after that. If you want to use ABC protocol, it will only go after that. If you just want to beat US inflation by 5%, it will get you that, and it will only work for you and for you only. And we're already seeing signs of this adoption. We have thousands of users using Giza agents currently, and 59% of them are personalized. 59% of them say, my capital requirements are completely different than somebody else's. And this is what we want to lean on. Why we want to lean on it extends beyond DeFi and extends beyond Web3, because there is a global trend towards hyper-personalized agents that run your life for you, that complete tasks for you. And finance cannot be left behind. It doesn't make sense that it's left behind. And as DeFi, we need to keep up with this as well. For us, it's only logical that the most important assets today is a natural fit with the most important technology of today. And this is what we are striving towards, and this is what we are building at Giza. So the first agent that we have deployed is running stablecoin yield optimization in a personalized manner, 24/7 for you, constantly beating the markets by 20%, by 30%, keeping you secure, letting you sleep, because we maximize the two things, the two currencies that matter the most in life, which is time and your wealth. And you can make more money and spend less time on finance, because this is what we are providing for you. We have moved close to 200 million in volume to date. We have executed more than 150,000 financial decisions to date, 100% profitable. We have a 5x user growth, and this is the first agent that we have built, and we will be building many more of them. And there are also other teams building on top of Giza. So the general message that I would like to give today is, this is how we started. Your keys, your coins. In the meantime, we have lost all our coins. Now it's time to move to your keys, your coins, and your finance. Thank you very much.